Recording.
Okay. All right,
Do we want to wait till 6?
we could do that. Yes, we have it noticed at 6 o'clock on the agenda. So why don't we pause
Have cake.
and have cake? Oh,
Ice cream cake.
let's pause until 6 o'clock so that anyone who, from the public who is planning to attend at.
Now.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready to reconvene. This will be our public presentation for Proposition 1. And Chief Van Camp will give us a rundown.
Okay, thank you. As we have done in the past, providing a public opportunity to, present information and answer any questions. So, without further ado, there's some background information I wanted to share. One is that, again, our mission statement, shows that, we're committed to serve the public, obviously with prompt, consistent, professional fire suppression services, basic life support, EMS, rescue, and, prevention preparedness services. So this is a mission statement we've had for 6 or 7 years. So everything that we do is essentially based on that. So currently, our vision is that we will strive to meet our mission-driven target levels of service to our community through the deployment based on a 2 strategically located fire station model, providing round-the-clock staffing at each of those fire stations, and they're both being fully competent and trained to provide those services, and to also be equipped with all the necessary apparatus and equipment to provide those services. The target levels of service that we have, 2 basic ones that we have, one for emergency medical services would be to be dispatched and arrive on the scene and begin delivering basic life support services within 8 minutes with 2 EMTs. For fire, our goal is to respond within 10 minutes with 4 firefighters to begin fire suppression services from the time that we receive the alarm. So essentially 8 minutes with 2 EMTs for EMS and 4 firefighters within 10 minutes for fire-related work. This graph shows the call volumes that we've received since 2008. And prior to the merger, District 7's figures are included with this. So as you can see by the bar graphs, that the vast majority of our call volume is EMS related, and is the main driver of a lot of our growth. The fire portion, which is the yellow, is obviously a much smaller portion and is remaining somewhat consistent from year to year. And then the red shows everything else, basically false alarms, service calls, and that sort of thing. But we're on a track for about 3 to 5% average growth rate from year to year for overall numbers of calls.
Is mutual aid response included in other, or is it included in the individual EMT or fire?
Correct. Yeah, EMS or fire. So mutual aid for fire in Lacey would be part of the fire numbers.
Okay.
So this is all calls. These aren't calls just within the district.
Correct.
Referring back to our target levels of service, we also track our ability to achieve them. And as you can see, the top Death Valley looking thing, red one is our compliance with firefighting. So it peaks and bounds. And some of the reason for the peaks and bounds is that we have a much smaller number of calls, as you recall, bar graphs. So minor variations from year to year can really swing the percentage quite a bit. So this is the percent of achievement of achieving those target levels of service. As you can see, the dotted line is a trend line and it's slowly inching upwards. So we're on an average, we're achieving our target levels of service for fire at an increased rate. The blue lines down below are for EMS, and as you can see, the numbers are running between around 60%, as you can see there from year to year. And the level of the actual number line, you can see is much flatter because it's a larger number and is less affected by some aberrations. But I think the take-home message here is that unfortunately, our ability to achieve our target levels for EMS are decreasing at a very modest rate, but it is in a downward fashion for a number of reasons. Increasing numbers of calls outside normal boundaries like Johnson Point area or east side of our district, which require much longer response times, have contributed a lot to that. So if there's any questions, any of this, just let me know. This is the numbers of staff position. So the green line on top is the numbers of average numbers of volunteer per year. And then the blue one down below is for our career staff. So it's pretty dramatic. You can see immediately the impact of the COVID pandemic really spurned a lot of the big change in our retention of volunteers. And it's been literally cut into about a third what it was normally being prior to the pandemic. And then gradually increasing the numbers of the career staff. Nice.
Subsidy.
The percentage of our budget for personnel has been being adjusted. As you can see, the green below are the volunteer staff as a percentage of our total budget has gone down as our numbers have decreased. And as our numbers of career staff have increased, as well as labor costs, the percentage has increased over time since 2015 as well. So our combined percentage of our operating budget for labor is about 70% last year, with both the career and the volunteer staff. So our current status, using 2023 statistics, is we have an average of 27 volunteers that are on staff and 18 career responders that are on staff. On average, we staff both fire stations 89% of the time. Of that, probably a total of 54% was staffing the second engine company. So the difference between the 54% and the 89 was staffing an aid car at 83. Our average response time in 2023 was 7 minutes and 14 seconds. And our capital asset replacement fund, the CNR&R fund, was fully funded in 2023. And our property tax levy rate in 2023 was $1.50 after voters approved the levy restoration in 2023. You all have any questions at any time, just let me know.
No, we were wondering if are you doing just the fire ballot initiatives, or are you talking about more ballot initiatives than just the fire?
This is just the Proposition 1
Okay.
for Fire District 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll look for that.
Oh, the sign up on the other boards, that made it sound like it was gonna be a open house of
Proposition.
propositions.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was just for our
Okay, well,
propositions.
tomorrow we vote for you, so I have questions you can. Love you guys.
Okay, thank you. current level of funding, the estimated cost of the taxpayer based on our current levy rate, and based on an average assessed value of $590,000. That's the average property value for homeowners in the district. Presently, at the $1.50, the taxpayer will pay $885. So over the next 4 years, as you can see, it tends to go down slightly as the levy rate decreases due to inflation being held at the 6% increase. So it goes from 885 down to 861 in 2028, and that's the current assessment or the levy that we have.
What you're saying is that's gonna be 885 more a year on their taxes. Or
No,
what they're
this
always
is,
paying.
if your house was worth $590,000, you paid $885 this year total for the fire district.
For the property, or the fire department.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like schools and everything else are extra. So if the voters did approve Proposition 1, the cost for the same valued house would be $1,186. And the new levy rate would be $2.01, which would mean that the taxpayer would be paying an additional $307 in 2025 if the Proposition 1 passes. And as the inflation rate exceeds the adjustments to the levy, the total levy goes down, as does the levy rate, as you can see, and that's due to the inflation. So really, that's the point that, yeah, it's gonna cost, and it's gonna cost the average owner of average value home $300. That's the message. So, looking at the end of our 5-year plan in 2028, what the status is estimated to be would be having an average of 25 volunteers. We would continue to have 18 career staff. Unfortunately, because of the actual and real reductions in revenue, we would not be able to fund staffing at 2 stations as frequently. So it would drop down from our current 80-some% to probably around 70%. Probably half of that would be staffing at second inning would probably be half of that, about 35% of the time.
And that's if the levy didn't pass, is that what you're saying?
If it does not pass.
Okay.
And then our average response time would increase from 7 minutes, 14 seconds that we have currently to 8 minutes or more. And then as that went further, the expected response times would continue to increase. And
Just a question for clarification. So currently, you said we have about 25 volunteers and we have 18 career staff. And that resulted in about 75% of our entire budget as paying those wages and compensations. We staff, currently have been staffing 2 fire stations 89% of the time. So in this scenario in 2028, with the same numbers of people, why would we only be staffing 70% of the time? What would be the driver of that reduction?
some of it is an increased absence due to increased annual leave. It would be probably fewer volunteers. I'm thinking that part of it is the probably focused staffing. So The point, haven't answered that. Most of it would be as a cause of non-availability of career staff. Increased vacations, increased.
And increased vacation as those folks accrue years of service for the
Correct.
department.
Correct.
Right.
Average response times would change primarily for not covering 2 stations. We would have to decrease the amount of items that we staff or save for in our career capital repairs and replacement, that we channel some money from our capital expenditures to operating costs.
Correct. Thank you.
And then the property tax levy rate in 2028 would be estimated about $1.46. The problem, as you can see here, we're looking 5 years down. The ability to restore a levy is going to be diminished completely, because even if we wanted to restore a levy rate in 2028 to gain some more money, you're only going to get 4 cents. That was the problem with the decreased growth in assessed valuation that we experienced last year. It really took a lot of the assumptions that we had in the past asunder, because we had planned for a higher rate of overall growth of value to help us, one way or the other, achieve an increased revenue. Well, we can't expect that anymore. And who knows? But we've chosen to take the more conservative approach and assuming that the rate of increase of our overall values will decrease. That makes sense. If Prop 1 passes, the plan would be to continue to maintain a solid staff of 25 volunteers. And the plan would be to increase from the 18 currently responders to 28 by 2028. With that level of staffing, we could virtually staff both stations all the time. I hate to say 100% because it'll make a problem, but essentially it would be 2 full-time companies, engine companies available all the time. It would also decrease the average response time to 6 minutes, primarily by being able to continue to share the load. Our capital asset replacement would continue to be fully funded. And in 2028, the property tax levy rate would be $1.97. And basically, that's the information.
Thank you.
Okay, as we don't have any other members of the public here, board members, if there are any questions, which we have seen this information before, understand it by and large, I see we don't have any. With that, then I think we'll go ahead and close the public presentation portion.
All right. You want to quit the recording?
Yeah, you can stop recording it.